Coffee.
Brought to you by Daddle's Coffee and Halftime Hot Takes. All the takes, all the coffee. And let's get on to the third quarter, Rutledge. We're flying through the show. What's our big thing here in the third quarter?
We're pulling out a Connor and Rutledge absolute staple of a segment known as Must, Bust, and Trust. Because this weekend, Connor, college football is back, folks. And while it was back a little bit last week, this weekend is the first official big kickoff of college football. So Connor and I are going to both go through our must, our bust, and our trust. Who is our big, this is the team you need to follow? Who is the, they're probably going to fall off the wagon and not do too good team? And who is your, you just need to pay attention to them team? So Connor, who is your must for college football?
You know, you're going to call me a homer here, but I really believe that this is a year for us in terms of a must. That Florida State is going to really turn it around, and I think Florida State is not just going to turn it around in terms of having a winning season again, but be really competitive and really fun to watch. Their coaching staff has a lot of energy. They got Mackenzie Milton. They've got a lot of winnable games on their roster, or pardon me, on their schedule. Really, I see 8-4 and getting back into the top 25 being a huge step forward for that program, making the ACC much more competitive and more fun to watch. So my must is Florida State.
My must is Alabama. You must watch Alabama this year because they haven't given you a reason to not. It's just out of all the teams and all the programs and everything, when Nick Saban surpassed Bear Bryant, and we all think, we'd never see such dynasty football ever again, why would you not? Why was Cam Newton so slow? But why would you not pick it? Why would you pick against Alabama? Show me a loss to the only way I'll pick against Alabama is show me a loss to Texas A&M and a loss in the SEC championship game to where they're not going to at least be a contender in the playoff. Nick Saban has an incredible system. Bill O'Brien, who was a pretty good college coach, he just kind of got too out there with his Houston roster. He acted like me in franchise mode in Madden. I think there's going to be great things to come out of the University of Alabama because there's always been great things to come out of the University of Alabama because it's come down to the point that they can recruit and get the players that they need. So I'm saying my must for college football this year is Alabama.
Wow, way to be controversial.
I aim to please.
You aim to please. So that's our must, Rutledge. Who's busting this year? Who's taking a step back?
Who's taking a step back is... This is a tough one, and I'm going to go who takes a step back is... I don't want to say it, but I have to say it, and it's just in me because I can't stop saying it. This might feel like a homer, but I'm going to go the University of Georgia.
Whoa. Bah, bah, bah.
So, and I'll give you an example as to why. The University of Georgia, while they do play Clemson this weekend in the Duke's Mayo Classic, Clemson's favored by 3 points. Now, Georgia's supposed to be preseason favorite for the SEC. They're supposed to be very dominant. They're supposed to be very well recruited. Kirby Smart's supposed to do very well. How are you 3 points behind someone who has a quarterback who's going to be starting in his second game of all time in a team that was majorly gutted? Georgia historically has always struggled in at least one game. I don't know if that's going to be Auburn. Florida could probably heat up by then. But the expectations for the University of Georgia this year are very high. And the ceiling, some have said, is national champion. To which my belief with Georgia, the ceiling is probably SEC East champion with a loss to Alabama in the championship game. So, and of course then a dominating performance in their bowl game because they will get squared off in a bowl game with a team they have much more athletically talented players. Georgia has strong players, but I have never been a huge buy-in to what they can produce. So I am going to go with my bust because their expectations are so high is University of Georgia.
Man, We love hating on Georgia on this show.
We
so
really
that's
do.
awesome.
Like, I can't.
I'm into it.
I just can't stop myself.
Except a Kirby Smart pump-up speech. I never hate on that. I don't think anybody should hate on that. My bust is actually going to be the Clemson Tigers. I think that the Clemson Tigers are going to experience what some in the biz would call brain drain. We'll call it athlete drain. There's only one Alabama in terms of being able to continually reload talent. And I think the impact of losing not just Trevor Lawrence, not just Travis Etienne, but, the variety of folks that they did lose on their roster was pretty enormous. And, I could see Clemson, falling to a team like a North Carolina in the ACC title game, not being in the playoffs, not kind of having a couple stinkers, right? Syracuse always plays Clemson hard. The interesting thing about the ACC is those top teams kind of have those, quote, thorn in your side teams. When Florida State's good, it always seems to be like that Thursday nighter against NC State. Just for whatever reason, just kind of is their little thorn in the side. So I could see Clemson, dropping 2 or 3 games this year.
I'm not going to disagree with you because they had such a dominant performance in the roster that they had, and Trevor Lawrence was such a great college quarterback. But you're right, it's very out there for them to not do as well as they've been doing. Now, their expectations are also very, very high. So with that...
So who's your trust?
My trust is in the ACC. Can you guess my trust?
Your trust, I bet, is going to be a team that both of us had picked at one time as number 4, and I bet you're trusting those North Carolina Tar Heels.
I am beyond trusting those North Carolina Tar Heels. I love what Mac Brown has done in North Carolina. I am a big fan. He's got a great coaching staff. They have a great roster. They have a fantastic schedule. Their hardest part of their schedule is they play Miami, and then they play Notre Dame back-to-back, and that's in October. So, of course, Connor, I love my October college football. That's when it gets wild. But as it goes, I'm definitely 100% in on North Carolina. Do I think they're going to make the playoff? Really depends on Clemson. But they don't play Clemson until the championship game. So I think they have it's their division to lose.
Oh, absolutely. Just to take the Big 12 this year. So I think they've got pretty much everybody back. So long, the swan song potentially the Big 12. I'm trusting Iowa State to take that next step and be Big 12 champs. And Coach Campbell, who knows? Maybe he's the next guy to try to go college to the NFL. But that's who I'm trusting.
That's our must bust and trust. I'm excited. I know you're going to be locked to your couch this weekend. So will I. It's going to be a massive weekend of college football.
I'm literally traveling out west so I can stay up later to watch the late kickoff games.
Connor's going to stay up late.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The 10 o'clock kickoffs will be 7 o'clock where I will be this weekend.
Oh, okay. You're doing it so you have better bedtime.
I still can keep my bedtime and watch games. It's a win-win.